Last month I scaled the score from 40k to 150k, and I'm going to show you how I did it. And earlier in the year, I took a brand from 70k a month to 700k a month. And also, I took this fashion brand from 150k a year to over 20 million a year. And first off, the way I do this for so many brands is 90% meta and make an ad creative. And the reason I go into this is because I don't think there's that many high level videos going into how you actually scale stores to 7 and 8 figures. And I wanted to post this video to show you that you can do it too if you just know how to make good ads. And literally before I was doing it this way, I was spending like 18 hours a day trying to get this to work on like 4 or 5 different platforms at the same time. And it just wasn't working, and I was spreading myself too thin. So what I'm going to do is show you how scaling to numbers like this with just one platform is not only possible, but actually the best way to do it. And it's way more efficient than splitting yourself across 4 or 5 different platforms like Google, Snapchat, Pinterest, TikTok, and Meta all at the same time. I've been getting a bunch of requests to work with me after my recent results, and at the moment we've got a pretty long waiting list, but I wanted to make this video to show you how it's possible and so you can start the process and get moving right away. But if you're a larger brand or you want to get things moving really quickly, I'm going to put my email in the description and we can start a conversation. Okay, so here's what I'm going to go through in this video. How to research so you understand the key desires of your customers. Then how to make content, which shows you how to deliver your key desires customers to them. And finally, how to know when to scale so you make the most money possible. But first, I want to talk about why focusing on one platform is the best. Every platform is a mountain of tasks, but each platform rewards small improvements massively. If you make a 10% better video, you get 100% better results. If you look at my screen here, you'll see why focusing on Meta as a one platform is the best way to go. Meta is just such a bigger platform, there's more people on there. So when you find a winner, when you get that 10% improvement in video, you'll be able to scale way more than you can on other platforms like Pinterest, TikTok, Snapchat. Also, Meta's ad machine is the best by far. You can do low in the funnel things, like specifically talking to customers at very different journeys. It's much, much better at doing that than other platforms. Other reasons why focusing on one platform is the best: creative costs are cheaper per platform, right? If you have to make videos for TikTok and Meta, you're doubling or even tripling your creative costs because you have to increase your output massively. And like each platform is basically a full-time job. You're going to have to hire for each platform. Otherwise, you're going to be doing both platforms badly. Your costs will increase because you're doing ads badly. And so you'll be spending way, way, way more money to get the same results. And actually, I had someone ask me the other day, they wanted to scale from 100K to 400K a month. And they asked, should they do email, CRO, or TikTok? And none of those are the best way to scale to 400K a month. None of those actually make it even possible to scale to 400K a month. For example, if you're doing 100K a month, let's say you're doing 10K a month of that through email. If you do a massive improvement in your email and increase it by 50%, you're only going to increase your revenue by 5,000 a month. So it's nowhere near 400K of what you need to get. And also, a 50% increase in your email revenue is an insane result, a wonderful, massive, big achievement. Similar things with CRO. If you improve your conversion rate by 20%, which is a massive achievement, and you're doing 100K a month, you'll only add 20K in revenue. So you won't get to 400K. TikTok actually has the possibility to scale you from 100K to 400K. But you have to consider this. This person was doing 100K a month on Meta right now. It's significantly harder to go from 0 to 100K than it is to go from 100K to 200K. So the optimal strategy is to dive deeper in Meta. Meta is such a big platform that going from 100K to 200K is not a big deal. As you see here, I go over both platforms in detail. Email, you're capped by your list. You have to build that list somewhere, whether it's on Facebook, TikTok, etc. Google, you're literally capped by current demand, and there's less room to differentiate. Because on Google, you can do so little in terms of actual ad copy and ad creative, it's very hard for you to stand out, and it becomes a race to the bottom. TikTok has a potential, it's smaller, and it requires significantly more work. You need to make more creative because the targeting is worse and things fatigue quicker. Snapchat, significantly smaller than Meta, so why waste time there? Unless you really want to get to 9 figures. Pinterest, even smaller, so you should focus on Meta. Okay, now part for step 1. This is how we research before we start anything. And these are the questions we should be able to answer by the end of it. What are the dreams and desires of my customers? What life force 8 emotion is the driving force behind a purchase? And what is an unacceptable situation for your customers? By the end of your research process, if you can't answer those questions like that, then you need to go back and do more research. And this part of research used to take us weeks, and now it takes us just a couple of hours with this prompt cheat sheet. And I'm going to share this down below in the YouTube video so you can steal this as well. But basically, using these prompts, you should be able to get so much research done, analyzing customer reviews, short-term statistics, competitive gap analysis. There's so much in here that you can do for 2-3 weeks of work just so easily. But a word of warning, with your research, you can't just use ChatGPT or something like that. You actually have to do the research, part of the research yourself, because part of being a good marketer is understanding your customer like no one else, right? It's actually living and breathing like them. For example, when I first started working with a woman's jewelry brand, all I did was watch try on jewelry hauls on YouTube. I watched them so much that I understood how they talked. I understood why they were buying. I understood what emotions they were feeling. I understood what they were scared about. I understood what they were subconscious about, what they were feeling worried about. I understood everything about these people. I was probably the highest watch time for these videos out of anyone in the world. And because of that, I was able to sell so much women's jewelry, and I could probably do that for the rest of my life. And because I didn't just use ChatGPT, this was before ChatGPT, but because I spent so much time actually living and breathing that customer, I actually understood how to sell to them so much. Once you do the research correctly, it becomes very easy to sell to people. The ad angles pop up, they just spring up to you, easy peasy. And another thing, you can't rush the research. You have to do research. You have to write copy. You have to let it bloom, right? You have to sleep on it. You have to let the subconscious mind come through. Lots of things happen while you're dreaming. So if you do research, write some copy, and then reread it in the morning, your brain will be working subconsciously, improving it, telling you if it's stupid, telling you if it doesn't make sense. So when you reread it the next day, you'll also turn from a creating mode to an analytical mode. And this is going to help you out, improve on your copy. And the reason why this is so important is you need to literally make a video which is 10% better than your competitors, and you're going to scale so quickly. By doing this research, you'll understand why your competitors' ads actually aren't talking in the right way, why they're not actually understanding the customer's problems in the right way, because you're effectively trying to become a customer by doing all of these research, right? You're effectively forcing yourself into that person's mindset. You should be able to have a mode where you can switch into that consumer, that avatar, that person who's buying, and then you can look at those ads, and then it feels like you can then judge whether you would buy off that. So going back, you do all this research, you do the prompts, you live and breathe, whether that's with YouTube try and hauls, whether that's with Reddit, whether that's with what other channels you're going to research. If you actually do some of that yourself, you should be able to answer these 3 questions. And this is fundamentally what you need to do. And everyone seems to get stuck on X is like, what ad format should I use? What creative should it look like? And you have these brands and these formats like Creative OS, which is a really good tool, but people use it lazily, right? They just put in text into those formats without doing the research. And those formats are just meant to speed up the process. They don't actually do the work for you. So when I show you these formats, take them with a pinch of salt. These are the types of ads we like to run. We have the evergreen ads, which is what we mainly focus on, because if you make this ad, you can have an ad which runs all year, no matter whether it's a moment, a trend, whether it's Black Friday, whether it's Father's Day or Valentine's Day. You have a powerhouse ad which works all year round. Secondly, seasonal moments ads. Basically, you're spending all year making these evergreen ads. You're battling in the trenches to find what the avatars are, why the reason people are buying. If you attach that then to a seasonal moment, your ad performance is going to increase by 10 to 20%, just straight up. The same with trends. Like if you can apply the learnings of an already winning ad to a trend, you'll probably get 10 to 20% increase in performance. These things won't last, obviously. And finally, sale ads. These are really simple, and there's 3 types of sale ads we like to use. Firstly, we use our evergreen ads with literally sale copy over top of them. Secondly, we just do simple sale ads like 20% off, 30% off. These crush because they find the customers who are ready to buy. And finally, we do specific content for the sale period, like specific sale UGC and gifting UGC, but the other 2 things will always perform better. But it doesn't have to get much more complex than that. It's really simple for a sale. Next, I'm going to show you one of the ads we use for this brand, scaling from 40 to 150K in a month. And you're probably going to be shocked by what it looks like. But just understand that this is why the messaging and the research is much more important than the format. And what I was saying before, formats are literally just a delivery system for messaging and research. You'll probably see like organic ads like this one in the middle all the time when you're scrolling through your Instagram feed. And basically, this is a really good indicator that the platform likes this type of content. So you want to apply your messaging into this delivery system because it's working well at the moment. The same with any other type of content. If you keep seeing a certain type of content keep appearing on your Instagram and you're the target demographic, then that is a sort of content you should apply your messaging to. If you're not the target demographic, then maybe you need to think about that. Like if you're like a 20-year-old male and you want to target 40-year-old women, then this won't work. What you need to do is find a 40-year-old woman's iPhone, ask them to scroll on their phone, and then you find the type of content they like to see. And then you can apply your messaging to that sort of content. But as you can see, it doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be like a mad, high polished video. Like this ad here was one of our best performers in an ad account. And once we found it working really well, we applied it to 4 or 5 clients we work with. And it crushed across the board. The trends probably died a little bit. It still works pretty well, but yeah, we're having to try and apply different formats now. But basically what happens here is messaging applied with the correct delivery format and you get really good results. So literally we made ads like this to go from 40K to 140K a month. This was probably the main driver in that ad account. Finally, I want to let you guys know that it's really, really simple to scale, and 90% of people just overcomplicate it. Most brands make a couple of mistakes. Either they don't know when to scale or how to scale. They have like 4 third-party platforms, or they're looking at 20 different metrics, and they actually takes them about 30 days to analyze these metrics, and therefore they never make a decision, or they make a decision and it's too late. The time has passed for them to scale. That ad is now dead. What you need to do is have a really clear number and then scale off that number. And there's another thing which a lot of brands continually make a mistake on, and that is being scared of a monster under the bed, right? I work with an 8-figure brand who has an insanely high MER. And before they started working with me, they were scared to spend more on Meta because they thought if we scale from 100K a month in spend to 200K a month in spend, something will surely go wrong. This is bad thinking because Meta is such a big platform. Going from 100K in spend to 200K spend, especially when your MER and your ROAS is insanely high, nothing's going to happen really. It might decrease your efficiency a little bit, but realistically, it's such a big platform that this is barely a drop in the ocean. There's brands spending 100K a day.